back. I'm Tedward, and welcome to one of my favorite spots in Massachusetts. We're at the Quabbin Reservoir, where we've been before in the Honda Civic Type R, but today we're on a drive with the Garage 42 crew and a bunch of customers who store their cars there. So usually these cars actually all live together under one roof, but today we're taking them all out because one of the beautiful things about Garage 42 is it really enables us to use our cars more. Now, I'm a terrible case of that because that's only my second drive of that 911 this year, but I think I'm a special case because I'm usually driving the other cars in the garage. Right. Edwin here is the dude who kind of makes sure that all of these things are where they need to be and clean, and I mean, he makes a lot of magic happen. There's a lot of cars in there, and there's a lot of really fancy, nice cars that we want to make sure are taken care of. So anyway, I'm out here in my 3.2 Carrera today, which was really fun because it greeted me right outside the doors of Garage 42 when I arrived. And then we've got a Team Champagne Ninjas 993 Turbo with the white wheels and a green SC Targa. Now, the cool thing about this green SC Targa isn't even the SC Targa, it's that it kind of matches the interior of the white 993. You've got this green. I mean, imagine if this green interior was in that green SC Targa. I think we'd have something really special here. This is just so wild to look at. And we'll get our drive in this pretty soon. AI Design put a lot of work into making sure this thing wasn't blowing oil and all that good stuff. So she's pretty much up to snuff at this point, but it's always, look at that. Oh, that's the good stuff. Just touching gasket material. Perfect placement. All right. Anyway, down here we've got David's GT4 RS, which of course we've had on the channel before, and makes a pretty solid little track vehicle. I need to drive this car more. I feel a little guilty that I didn't, and the more I'm driving it now, the more I'm realizing I really should have. And then down here, this is where you get a real different smattering of what's out here. We've got a Hellcat, we've got a 911T, it's kind of a Porsche parade, and then we've got the 76 Lincoln. Whoa, Globemaster, baby. Dude, we were getting real lucky today with the sights. Just doing laps. Got some military training out here. This is awesome. Anyway, check out the Lincoln with the skeleton back here. So he's been keeping up with all of us today. Thankfully, there's been a few red lights, so he hasn't had to keep up with us on super fast roads. But anyway, we're gonna get our photo opportunities. Hopefully someone got a shot of the cars with that big old military jet, and then we can get out and go for a little drive, find some lunch, and enjoy the day. Let's get the 911 started up. There we go. My co-pilot today is Cole, who's taking lots of photos, which maybe I'll pepper in if he sends them to me, which would be super cool.
Only if they come out well.
Only if they come out well. I'm sure they'll be great. The last time we were in this car, I had just hit 88,000 miles. We've done about 90 miles so far today, almost. And I mean, it's really running like a charm. I don't want to jinx myself on that, but I have had just some nerves about this car. Once in a while I just have nightmares, and they're completely unfounded. I'll think like, what's that sound? Is that okay? And then I'll have someone look at it and they're like, it's fine. There's no worries. I think I get nervous about the rebuild price on this engine because it's easily 40 G's, if not double, depending on what you want to do to it after that. So it's just a little stressful. It is so tempting to hit this roundabout really hard. Kind of shocked David didn't. He's being really good. He's got his dad in the car. It's a real shame that these are like kind of state park roads, just because when you look around at how fun it would be to drive this at like full tilt, I mean, holy cow. But you just don't want to be the guy that like bins his Porsche at the Quabbin Reservoir. Plus there's like all state police barracks and stuff around here, so you really can't be messing around very much. Last time I was here, I was in a McLaren Senna. Oh, look at that. That's so cool. That bridge.
Oh, man, that's epic.
feel like I've come to accept over the last couple of years is that I can't just overcome traffic. Traffic is traffic. And this guy's a legend. And I was not expecting that. Kind of have to accept where you're at in terms of, are we going to be in a situation where we're just stuck behind cars all day? And like, yeah, you can always slow down, pull over, like make space and try to find room to enjoy yourself and let your car stretch its legs a little bit. But I think I used to get really just like frustrated and angry, and I'd be like, I need to make all these passes and all this stuff. And I'm like, I've chilled out so much, like, because the reality is, if that's what ends up causing the accident or something goes wrong, like, A, you look like a jerk, it's totally your fault, and B, just enjoy what's in front of you. And if you do need to take a minute, make some room, make some space and chill, just do that. You know, that's what we do up in like California when we're on the canyons and stuff. Like, sometimes you're just in traffic and it's like, okay, well then I'm gonna pull over here, wait till those cars go up the road a few miles, and then I'll go catch them up again. What I love about this car is just like using all of the road. Like, look how far I am from the Mustard when I'm on the Mayo. Like, that's so crazy. It's just a little car. It is funny though how the energy of their group will completely dictate what your drive is going to be like, because this is a nice chill group. Like, we're enjoying ourselves, we're having a couple pulls on the highway, we're enjoying some twisty roads, but nobody is necessarily putting the car on the ragged edge and making crazy moves whatsoever, and it makes the drive nice. I'm not worried about getting lost, I'm not worried about losing people. We're all just kind of it's like skiing, you know. It's like, yeah, you want to bomb down the hill, but like, you'll stop every once in a while to collect each other and just be like, cool, we're all good, we're good. And we're not like cutting off civilians and like ruining the experience for anyone who's not us. That's like, that to me, I think, got really old when I was younger, and I was like, I don't really like that. Climbing lane ahead, beautiful thing, except very rarely do people use them correctly. You're not a cop. Are you? Nope. I love the exhaust on this car. It's grunty.
It's nice.
It's like a little unrefined, I think, in some ways. Cool S2000. Ooh, little MB guy.
Hey, oh, I know that guy, Zach.
That was cool.
He drifts at Lock City all the time.
That's sick. Drifting culture in Massachusetts has grown significantly.
Yeah.
I don't really have a car for it.
I don't know. I think we could make it work.
In this?
No.
The M5?
M5 is probably our only option.
I don't know. That seems abusive. We were just talking about BMW drivelines and how they don't typically love to be like abused and hammered, because they just sort of become soupy and mushy, and then they're like a lot of slack, like on and off throttle in a car that, in an old BMW that's been launched too many times. You get on and off throttle and it's like a second delay and a thunk.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. My Guibo doesn't weave anymore.
Yeah, the Guibos, man, they just get destroyed. But also, you know, it's like those output shafts of the transmissions and the input shafts of the diffs.
Yeah.
They just, and you can't fix that. Like, you have to rebuild.
Yeah.
Oof. I love this car, but my goodness, the suspension gets a little old when you find roads like this, especially in the cold. Like, it's November right now. It's just November. It's 45, 50. It's 50 degrees probably. It's not so bad. When you drive this car any colder, the suspension gets so rigid, it's quite unpleasant. Well, let's find our way to lunch, and I need to eat, man. I'm starting to fade. Successful lunch at Stone Cow Brewing. Let's get the 911 started again. And the good news is Edwin already went back to Garage 42, which means if anything goes wrong with this car, he's closer to the tow truck. Optimistic. This car starts to feel really small when you're in a sea of things like that. And then you think, oh no, in the event of getting hit by a Jeep, like it's just going to decapitate us.
Yeah. My head is lower than the headlight on that.
This is frightening. Yeah, this is a thing too. I was talking about in another video why I don't use the 6-point harnesses. It's because if I get in an accident, my neck is gonna snap. I'm not wearing a helmet and Hans device, so it's just gonna, my body will stay still, my head's gonna go forward. But then someone mentioned, like with the 3 points that we're wearing right now, my teeth are just gonna go straight into the steering wheel. So I'll just lose my lower half of my jaw, which is not ideal either. So I guess there's just no winning when it comes to like these little unsafe cars. Okay, off we go. This gearbox, this G50 box, always feels just a little, I think sludgy is the correct term, when it's cold. It's just important to treat it nicely. Don't force it. You ask for things. Now, it's never crunchy. It's never really that persnickety. It just doesn't want to be slammed. And if you're somebody who's used to like old muscle cars or Camaros or Mustangs or things like that, where you can just hit those gears like a madman and you do not request, you instruct, you're going to have a rude awakening getting into something like this. You just got to be a little patient. How far are we going? All right. 62. But I gotta say, like, this car is so tight. Like, there's no play in the steering. Everything feels together. The gearing's long. Like, my dream car, really, in this kind of Porsche world, is a 964 RS. They're perfect, and they have shorter gearing, and that shorter gearing lends itself to being a little more race car-y. But in addition to that, it also just makes it a little easier to drive around town because second gear's a little shorter and things like that. Whereas like right now, I feel like I should be going into first, but I don't want to because like the gearbox isn't going to be thrilled with that choice. What's nice is you get all this like engine braking. If I was in my Honda right now, I'd have to be on the brakes. I wouldn't be able to use the engine braking like I can in this car. And that's, I think, another thing where I drive this car and I'm just like, oh right, naturally aspirated is 100% my choice. I would prefer an NA car over a turbo any day. I remember when I first got this car, I had to take a left-hand corner from a dead stop. It was like one of those flashing red arrows. And I will never forget thinking, oh my God, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna drive this car? Because I went to just like muscle the steering wheel, not realizing like, no, you gotta get the car moving a little bit before you start anything. Hello. Yeah, and the side of that door tells me that they've seen
the first time.
They've definitely seen the business end of traffic before. That's hysterical.
That was fucking
oh my God, this is not a road.
About 8 miles on this.
Now it's a road. The thing about this car is you just have to flow with it. They don't change direction like a modern car because these rear engine air coolers are very heavy in the back. I mean, you can feel the fact that it's rear engine. So like the nose moves, but like you can tell that there's this big thing behind you. So you just have to coerce it into corners and then use the throttle to adjust anything that you need to manage mid-corner. Sorry for that long pause. Didn't have the words. Sometimes I'm just enveloped in the experience. But the thing these cars definitely teach you is throttle control, because smooth application and removal of throttle is what keeps these moving in a straight line, or at least in the direction you'd like it to go. Anyone who refers to these cars as like widowmakers, or if they're scary or hard or challenging or advanced to drive, typically they just haven't figured out that throttle control yet, and that's really what kind of separates people from comfort to terror in these 911s. Oh, this feels like a Top Gear episode in Botswana. That's better.
Yeah. You're holding that in for a while.
Yeah. That was like a sweet release. That felt good. Hawk picking something up. Oh God. That's the thing, this car just needs to be on like some windy road, but it likes, you know, it's funny, it's a small car, but it likes a fast sweeping corner.
Yeah.
Like it's happy like that. It's not necessarily thrilled to be like changing directions like a slalom, but it really likes just settling into a corner and getting into it. I'm still like, I nurture it a little bit, like into a corner. I don't usually go too hard on the brakes. I kind of just like feather it in.
Yeah, I noticed that you weren't quite as aggressive in that.
I don't like risk this car just because if it goes tits up, it's gonna go like real tits up. Unless we catch up with some of our fellow Garage 42 patrons on this drive, I think that's going to do it. We're going to go bring the car back to the garage, put it away. Ryan will clean it up. Thank you, Ryan. Because now it's a little dirty. We've been on some dirt roads, some crummy roads, a little bit of rain. But that's the beauty of the garage, is that every time the car goes back, it gets cleaned. And every time I go to pick it up, it looks brand new. Well, all right, brand new to me, brand new to whatever standard the car is. It's an 88, I get it. But it makes all the difference in the world when you have sort of a team looking after your stuff instead of just me attempting to keep up with inspection stickers and washes and battery tenders and all that stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thanks to Garage 42 for putting on this first sort of test of a drive with the customers, which I think went pretty darn well. I think we're going to do more of these. Maybe we'll find some wild locations to do this. Maybe some longer trips, maybe some shorter trips, maybe some day trips, whatever. Maybe some themed trips. There was a lot of Porsches today. Maybe we got to do some like a British drive. But either way, don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.